Okay, guys, I'm excited to show you more games from this book that, as you can see, I have the same identical chess set that they were using for these games. And you say, how do you know? Because it's 1834, they still don't have the Staunton, whatever we call today Staunton, with the knights that are based, I think, on the British Museum in London. And so this is what they had. Probably they had it in ivory. I don't have it in ivory because I'm not that rich. And maybe in that time it wasn't even expensive, but today it's too expensive for me and I cannot afford it. I can only afford reproductions. Okay, this is game 6 of match number 1. De la Bourdonnais is white and McDonnell is black. And let's see this famous gioco piano, also known as Italian game. So it starts with one e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, c3, and here there is the fourth move that is considered dubious, which is d6. It's a natural move, honestly, but in the book he says the best move is knight f6. I think maybe the problem is that he can attack directly and immediately on f7. Otherwise, honestly, I don't really see big differences. What is this inaccuracy at move 4? I don't know. d4, e takes d, c takes d, and now again, what should black play? Black in this situation should play bishop b4, they say, because it aims a simplification. Since white has the initiative because is attacking with bishop b4, at least you should exchange some pieces. So probably that's the rationale behind. Instead, in the game, it was played bishop b6. So now for white, again, this is, however, an important exercise. On this, I agree. White played d5. To me, this move doesn't make any sense. Why doesn't make any sense? Because you're blocking the diagonal. So why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense, right? Then there is another problem why I don't like d5, because you're moving a pawn. Once you move them, you create something that you cannot control. Instead, here you are controlling it. So, in my opinion, but this is, I think it's probably the opinion of, of also the book, it would have made more sense to play knight c3. So why would have made more sense? Let me tell you why. Because in the beginning, in the opening, I want to take out all the pieces. Then I want to castle, and then I want to connect the rooks. If I do something like that, it's because I have a material advantage. So yes, I would do something like that if I gain maybe a pawn, or I don't know, I take away the chance that black has to castle. Then yes, I do something like that. But if this is not the case, guys, I'm sorry, I don't see the reason. I prefer to take out my pieces, all of my pieces, because remember the saying that practically tactics flow from a superior position, no? And how do you create a superior position? A superior position is when you are more developed, more controlling than your opponent, okay? So let's think about that when we play, okay? He played d5 and obviously Black doesn't play knight e5 in this case because knight takes, d takes, then yes, there is still an attack. Instead he plays knight c e7, okay? And here it says McDonnell finally deviates from game 4. For them it's stronger this one, honestly I don't know. It does tend to less forcing play and consequently more creative options for both sides. Yes, if you keep both the pieces, but notice also this. This is kind of interesting for this piece, that you can do this. And attack, obviously you will do it once you have castle, okay? And attack the pawn chain and then open your pieces and attack. So once you have castle, maybe that's the reason to have it there. Here white could have castle, which made sense to me. Instead he played e5. And of course black fight for the center. What does fighting for the center mean? In this case is bishop g4, because you are practically pinning this that is supporting this, and so it's a kind of indirect way for fighting. They say in the book that d takes e is not so good, but once again, you know what is the interesting part of this, that it was recommended by Staunton. This is the line Staunton gives. Knight takes e5, queen d6, and the problem that here there is this, he says. Okay. And then after that, this is the point. Wow, this is interesting. As you can see, there are practically 4 lines here. So the book really treats this thing well. Because, for example, once I saw this, yes, okay, I thought, but what do you do after this? Because that's a kind of problematic, right? Who is gonna save this guy? And here it says queen d2. Is still saved by this. So let's see, queen d2, and so black takes. But if you take, I don't know, I think you are giving white an advantage. He has to go back. Bishop takes d2, knight f6, and here it says, very interesting, knight c3. For example, I thought immediately of this, but then I thought maybe this. Because, sorry, again, what you care in this kind of open games is to prevent the opponent from castling. And so instead, in the book, they just see this. So I don't know, here it doesn't tell me if the line was made by an engine, which is possible. Bishop a5, and here there is long castle, and it says, and black is faced with several unpleasant ideas, and he considered d6, yes. And also bishop g5, rook he1, knight b5, and bishop b5. Yeah, okay, so probably this analysis, maybe it's made by the computer, and Staunton stop at queen d6. Once more, I tell you, I'm happy of this book because the fact that the author went to look for a line, a comment, an annotation made by Staunton, to me means a lot. Okay, now let's return to the position from which we analyze that line, so we can see the real game. And this is also a thing I want to tell you you should do. You should try to memorize the games. So without watching the book, you try to remember what they played and why, because this will make much more sense, okay? And it will make you grow. So you will remember here, I played d6, but the best move is knight f6, and so that's what you have to do. And also the repetition from the beginning of a game, once you have made a comment, no? You have followed a comment and you have totally lost the position from where you started. I do believe it's a good exercise, okay? Obviously, it may take a little longer, but it's worth it. So this should have been the move. Instead, he played that. This is not so good. He should have played that. So you see that I remember that stuff, and so should you. Okay. Knight 6-7, e5, bishop g4, and now we need to see what white played. Once more, Staunton gave some lines relative to queen a4. There is a very interesting thing. In one of these lines, the number 4, there is Morphy responding, answering Staunton. So correcting the ideas of Staunton. So it's possible that Staunton published this line on a magazine and Morphy read it and show him that he wasn't so correct. That's the interesting part. In the game, white played bishop b5. Maybe now this move c6 is not so good. Black played king f8. And I don't know, honestly, king f8 doesn't really make me excited about it. But let's see one thing. Let's see c6, because honestly, d takes c, b takes c, and bishop c4. And then bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, and d5. Well, I don't know. The problem is that this kind of king f8 is a concession to white, right? White wants to keep you in the center, and you accepted that. And of course, white now will have to do something to open the lines. But once more, notice one thing in this position. White has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces in their initial rank. Black does have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. This is out of the game. But you need to have a little more in order to have a successful attack, right? In any case, white played e6, and here he says this pawn sack is the logical continuation of de la Bourdonnais' seventh move. The seventh move was e5, okay? No, sorry, seventh move was d5. And he says, ensuring that his opponent's king must endure a period of insecurity. Yeah, that's the goal, no? So f takes e, d takes e. This pawn is quite advanced, so it's kind of interesting. And knight f6 is considered dubious. Why? Because it says the pawn at e6 must be eliminated, or else white retains all the chances at no expense. Correct is therefore bishop takes e6. And then there is knight g5 with a hard struggle for both parties. But here it doesn't give a big line, strangely. A line that we should see, no? Ah no, sorry, I'm wrong. It gives a big line. It gives multiple lines. It practically gives 3 different lines of attack. and how they are answered. Okay, so the book is really, really complete in this sense. So practically, after bishop takes e6, he analyzes the following. Knight g5, no? And after knight g5 there are different lines depending on how black plays. If he plays bishop d5, not so good. And then there is also bishop d7, not so good. And so yeah, it's kind of cover, and even covers bishop f7, so it covers everything. It covers all the possible lines that were played, that could have been played if black would have taken on e6. Now the question here is that most of this line are 6 moves long. I doubt they would have been able to see so precisely like it was done here, and especially with the evaluation. Honestly, the book is very good. Do you know why? Because Kotov, in his book Think Like a Grandmaster, tell you that you should have like 3 different candidates, and then at the end of each line give an evaluation. So the book follows that format. I doubt that a human player is able to do that. Also, if they were good, but I'm sorry, I don't see them this kind of level of good. Maybe Kasparov, Fischer, and Magnus at their top moment, yes, could have done something like that. These 2 guys, they don't seem very strong to me like them. Also because you must understand that Kasparov or Carlsen, they have benefit from more than 200 years of chess and coaches and so on and so forth. I don't know if these 2 guys had this kind of advantage, and especially once you have chess base that you can see millions of games, and they surely have watched many games to understand the patterns. Okay, so after DE we have knight f6 instead of bishop takes e6. That would have been probably the best one, but very, very difficult to calculate. So here they say the best move for white is queen b3 because it keeps an eye on this and obviously unpin this, but in the game it was played h3. And once more, this is what happens in my opinion with computer continue to tell you the right move. In this case black should have taken. Instead, guess what, he took on f3. Also here there is the line which justifies the taking, no? And in this case it would have been better for McDonnell, because he would have eliminated a very dangerous pawn. Queen takes f3, c6, because obviously there is also this. Bishop d3 and queen c8. And here it's attacking here, so white makes a mistake. What is the mistake? He plays bishop f5. Once more, the book finds through Morphy, so Morphy clearly analyzed well this game. He says queen e2 was better, and this would have consolidated the white's advantage at little risk. Now, if queen e2 is accepted, it means that the author check it with the computer, and Morphy suggestion is still valid nearly 200 years later, which tell you a lot on how good Morphy was. How does black continue here? it seems that it would have been better to play after bishop f5 to play knight takes f5. Instead, he played king e8. So he's trying to move away from that and probably put the rook on f8. Because guys, you need to always remember, when you move a piece, and these people were good, however, they do it because they want to free a square for another piece that they want to place there. So they don't just move for moving, okay? So think about that. Every time that you see a game, now you know that sometimes a movement is made to free a square for one of their pieces. White continue with castle, rook f8, and then there is a move that is not so good, which is queen d3. The right move seems to be the following. g4 is the right move to play. Instead, they say that rook e1 would have lost the game right away. Why? Because there is knight takes f5, queen takes f5, and then there is knight d5. And you say, so what? Well, maybe you didn't see that the rook on f8 then at that point is aiming f2, and this is there. So once you move the queen, boom, the bishop takes. Here they don't show you that, but is what makes sense, okay? So they try to tell you something. Okay, so knight takes f5 was the right move if you played rook e1. So sometimes you must be careful when you move this rook because it's really protecting this point. Okay, and that's something I discovered too, unfortunately. Okay, queen d3. And now there is knight f5, but is considered a bad move. Instead, he should have considered g6. Again, guys, as you can see, the analysis of the game is kind of very, very important. The line they give, it's about 6 moves long to prove that g6 was better. Again, I don't know if someone would be able to visualize that kind of amount of moves. And I honestly don't know very well. I should have checked the time control. But that's also interesting. Okay, queen takes f5. King e7. Let's always remember that the king is the best blocker. Why? Because it is like a pawn. In the middle game or also in the end game, compared to a piece like a queen that is worth 9 points, a king is okay if it blocks a pawn. Then the other advantage is that one can start to maneuver the pieces behind to pile up against the pawn and then move the king away at the right moment so you can actually destroy that pawn. So white continue with bishop g5, and here it says this error as well as black's on the 17th move was evidently committed since both players miss a possibility discovered by Morphy. Wow, again this Morphy. So guys, the move that Morphy discovered was rook e1. And why? Because in this moment he cannot play this, because there is bishop g5 check. Oh wow, this is kind of interesting. So maybe we should watch it for a second. So rook e1, knight d5, bishop d5, g5 check, king e8, queen takes h7, bishop takes f2, king h2, and now he says there is a deadly check on g6 looming. Yeah, that's real. So if you take this, queen g6 is practically a checkmate. Why? Because the only thing you can do is rook f7, queen takes f7, and the game is over, right? So that's kind of interesting, I think. Okay, let me pause and go back to the position. Okay guys, I return to the position, and if I can place a criticism to the book, in my opinion, here we should have need a little more diagrams, especially in some places like this one, that there is bishop g5, or the previous one when I told you there were all these lines. Yes, there would be a diagram. For example, you would put a diagram just before this line, so you can return back easily to that point instead of maybe forgetting something if you try to put the position back by memory. In any case, here white played bishop g5, and so by the way, I just show you a line in which there was a bishop f2. What was the big difference? The big difference is that the king is on e7. In the previous line, which didn't work, the king was on e8, so it didn't have that kind of a dangerous check. And so that's why this one instead worked. The rook e1 works, and in the previous one it didn't. So that's the important thing. Sometimes just one difference of a square give you a tempo, and that tempo is enough to build a mating attack. Okay? Okay, so what do you think black did? Well, black played queen takes e6. And here it seems that also this move is a mistake. So imagine how many mistakes these guys did. Obviously they didn't have a magical mouse and the gaming chair in which give you the 99% perfection. The move to play probably was this. Okay, g6. Instead, queen takes e6, not so good. Let's see why. Because white can play queen takes h7. This is a pin, so it cannot take that, right? And now it's threatening this. So black played queen f7, knight c3. You finally see the importance of having all the pieces ready for the attack before the attack starts, because sometimes you take too much time, no? And what happens here? King d7. Bye bye. So this guy now is going away. How do you stop his escape, right? That's the problem. Queen f5, check. King c7. Bye bye. Bishop f4. Rook a d8. Now all the forces, black, all forces are in the game. White still has to mobilize the forces, so I don't think he's gonna win, honestly. So what did white play? Well, he played a move that is not so good. The perfect move, again, recommended by Morphy, rook a d1, because it would oblige the king to stay there in the center to keep this situation. Instead, white played queen c2. That is a mistake. Why? Because the threat of knight b5 easily stopped by black. No? How? He plays king b8. So white continue with a4, but as you can see, this is too slow at this point. And black was able practically to castle, in a sense, manually, but he castled. So let's see how black now try to win the game. Because once you lose the initiative, and white has lost it because he needs too many tame p to actually create a threat, it's black turn to create a threat. How does he do it? Knight h5. Because again, I tell you, you can see that there are all the pieces that are trying to go there. And here there is a problem that you must understand. This pawn is pinned, right? Which means it cannot move. Which means this square is very, very important that you keep it under control, because it's not going to be able to take here if black put the knight here. I continue to have difficulties to say black because the pieces are red. So I want to say red like it would happen in Chinese chess. And here there is a mistake that white played, which is bishop g5. Instead, bishop h2 would have been better because it keeps control of this and also continue to attack there. Here, not so good, right? And so you must also think when you move a piece, which squares you leave unguarded. Rook d e8, a5, and what do you think he does? What do you think he moves? Where does he move? Obviously b c5. Why? Because he wants to continue to keep the pressure. Notice, once you can do this, he will be able to control there, and it will be a mess. And this is become very, very weak, right? So as you can see, black is starting to be able to create some real threats. But let's see how it continues. Knight a4. Do you think black want to exchange that bishop? No. Why? So you understand. Yeah, we say that the bishop is free, this is free, and this is free, right? But this free is worth nothing because it's doing nothing. This free is doing a lot. So would you exchange it? No, never. You would never exchange that bishop because that bishop is very, very powerful. It's what it will help you to have a successful attack. So that's why you need, from move to move, understand the value of the pieces. They are not all the same, right? Of course, white understood that. And what did he play? Queen d2, because he wants to get rid of it, no? But he can't, because he doesn't have enough time, no? He doesn't make enough time. He doesn't have it. So, what do you think now that black played? And this is a tactic, in a sense, and is a tactic based on the fact, once more, that this is pin. It cannot be moved. So this attack is in reality kind of fake. Why? Let me show you why. Boom, knight g3. If you take knight e2 check and gobble the queen. So as you can see, when things start to become like that, you already know who is gonna win the game, okay? So immediately white plays rook fd1, but then obviously he has lost this. King h2, knight e4, queen c1. At this point you already know that black will win the game. Why? The pieces are on the 4th rank, far away from the action. This king has only 2 bodyguards. It's gonna be a mess. It's a bloodbath. Bishop g3, king g1, queen f2, king h1, bishop e5. Obviously here it's possible to play this. The idea is you take, checkmate. Okay, so you must be careful about these ideas. Okay, so after bishop e5, rook d3, because he wants to protect that probably, and also tries to maybe exchange pieces to release the strength of the attack, but knight g3, rook takes g3, queen takes g3, so there is a possible checkmate here. Immediately white plays queen g1, and oops, another one bites the dust, right? So clearly already now I think white could resign, but he doesn't. He plays a6, queen g3. Notice that obviously queen g3 is really poison because there is this, right? So okay, so after queen g3, ab. In this case, guys, you don't take back because you don't care. You don't want to create a possibility of an attack, right? You continue with your attack with rook f2. Rook f2 is also good for one thing. It cuts the queen from a possible attack there, right? So rook a3 attacking the queen, queen f4. But also here, now that the try to think, guys. Now that the rook is not on this rank controlling it, there is a problem. I think that I would have done before. For example, if there was only this, take, checkmate, right? But unfortunately there is this and it takes. So when he plays this, this is not protecting this anymore. And so I would play this, rook f1. He would take back, no problem. I take, and bishop takes on g3 with a possible checkmate on e1. You need to visualize this stuff because it's pretty easy. But guess who said rook f1? Morphy again. Morphy is the guy, our guy. Okay, so after rook f3, queen f4, knight b6, and of course here there is rook f1, knight d7, and you don't want to take this, okay? Because if you take this, that queen help and can take there. So what did he play? He played this. Obviously there is b8 queen. Luckily now I have another one. Rook takes b8. And here it resigns. Thus concludes a tremendous struggle that reveals much of our heroes' values through their strategic judgment. And again, I think it revealed also their fantasy. They didn't have a fantasy, for example, when the queen was here to play immediately rook f1. So we also see that they were not Morphy material in a sense, right? So guys, this is the book from which I'm watching these wonderful games on this great chess set. And I think now the colors and the chessboard has improved thanks to this new camera that I'm using. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time.